Welcome back to the heart of Texas. And this is a little bit new that we're doing. We're doing a Zoom interview. And man, would you kindly tell us who you are and what your business is?
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me on for today. My name is Emily Kramer Throckmorton, and I am the owner and head coach of Kaizen Athletics. Kaizen Athletics is a functional fitness gym located in Virginia Beach, Virginia. I am a certified strength and conditioning coach, as well as an adaptive and inclusive trainer. I'm also the CEO and founder of Kaizen Adaptive Training, kind of the reason we are all here today. And Kaizen Adaptive Training is a nonprofit organization that I founded in 2020. And this program provides functional fitness training for individuals with long-term physical or traumatic impairments. And these impairments can be visible or invisible. And these are kind of done through movement and community. So I bring them in and I give them that sense of community. And kind of our program is to make fitness accessible for all individuals that come to us, regardless of their ability. And these classes that I offer are 100% donation based as well. So they get to pay absolutely nothing when they come in.
So, what inspired you to start this business?
It all started when I went to a local fitness event where they were actually holding multiple workouts throughout the day in honor of a multitude of fallen soldiers. So Virginia Beach is a huge military town, and our community is wonderful for getting together, giving back to wounded warriors, to veterans, and to their families. So this workout in particular, I participated with a handful of veterans, wounded warriors. And basically, they were above the elbow amputees, below the knee amputees, and they were doing the exact same workout as me. And so this was about 2020 when I was able to do this workout. And they were doing box jumps next to me. They were deadlifting a bar next to me, and they were using modalities that I have never seen before. They had hooks around their arms so that they could get the barbell up off the floor. A gentleman had a blade on for his above the knee amputation, and he was actually running next to me in this workout, which was the most incredible thing I have ever seen. And so when I was with all of these individuals, I knew at that moment that I needed to create a program of some sort that gave back to this adaptive population, not only for just the physical side of things, but also the fact that they had the mental fortitude to push past this whatever impairment they may have, like the no excuses. I'm all about that. So that's kind of how it all started. So I would say in 2020, that's when I founded this. And my first adaptive athlete was actually a veteran with a spinal cord injury. And basically, we helped him regain his independence again. We helped him squat. We helped him do box step ups again. And basically, all of these are like functional movements to help them in the real life. So they're able to walk upstairs again, or they're able to sit on a toilet, like little things that you and I are, very easy to do. For these individuals, it's very challenging. So I knew I had to give back to this population. So it started with him, and now I have a wide variety of adaptive athletes that I meet with about 3 times a week.
Oh, wow, that is so amazing. So, when people come into your gym, like we know what the equipment in a regular gym would look like, but does your equipment differ from what you would see in a regular gym to make sure that you have adaptive equipment for those with different disabilities?
Yeah, so at my gym, we are a functional fitness studio, which means that we have a lot of free weights, we have wall balls, we have barbells, we have a lot of like cardio equipment like assault bikes, or we have rowers, we have skiers, which I highly recommend. A majority of people get a skier if they're in a wheelchair. This is a great piece of equipment. And if they have a chance to go to my YouTube channel after this, you'll see a lot of our athletes using the skier in action. But I would say for majority of athletes, especially with this population, they should be focusing on their body. So using free weights or being able to do a push-up off the floor or off the wall, or they're learning how to squat again, because all of these things, or they're learning how to deadlift again, they are all translating over to things that their daily activities are going to require them to do. So there's no reason for them to kind of waste their time and go to a bigger gym where there's all these machines where they are probably not all that wheelchair accessible anyway. And they can do so much with just being either on the floor or having a dumbbell or having a wall ball or something. There's so much they can do with just a little bit of equipment. And also in the, I can send you a link as well. We do a lot with an organization or a company called Equip Products. And they actually make adaptive fitness equipment. So any modality that you may need to go onto a piece of equipment, like for instance, if we have an individual with like a stroke, and so if he has left side paralysis, they make a single arm rowing attachment. So if somebody wants to row, like a rowing machine, they make a piece of equipment that straps onto the handle so that they can only, if they just have like right arm ability, they can use their right arm. They don't even have to worry about their left arm. So little things like that.
Oh, wow. That
Yeah.
that is so amazing. And so I guess that leads me to my next question. Is there a process that people have to go through before that they start using the equipment in your gym? Do they have to
Sure.
fill out paperwork or do an evaluation of some sort?
Yeah, so for my classes, we host them Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday from 4:30 to 5:30 p.m. And these are just for my adaptive athletes. And for that class, it's called small group training. So we only have up to 5 adaptive athletes. And that allows me to give them that one-on-one coaching that they need, but in a small group atmosphere. And then for us, we actually have them do an application process. So if an individual is interested in our program, we actually have them send out an email with their background, their injuries, their impairments, their goals, any sort of extra things that we need, whether that's a note from their physical therapist or from their doctor saying that they are able to do physical activity. Once they have cleared that, and I know that they're a good fit for that small group setting, I then bring them in, I evaluate them and make sure that, yes, in fact, I can work with them and that they're in my scope of practice. Because that's a big thing as well for me is I am not a physical therapist. I am not a doctor. I am a functional fitness strength and conditioning coach. So within my scope of practice, I am trying to help them, but from a fitness standpoint, not from a medical standpoint. So I make sure that they're a good fit for me and what I'm able to do. But once they do start coming in, we build them up very slowly. It's a very, it's a slow progression to make sure that we're helping them get stronger and fitter, but safely, of course.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Most definitely. So is there a particular training that your trainers in particular have to go through to make sure that they ensure the safety of people with those with disabilities?
Yeah, and that's definitely very important to me. I am actually the head coach of Kaizen Athletics, so I am the only coach. So that's really nice. So I can continuously take continuing ed to better myself. I will say for myself, I am in an adaptive and inclusive trainer through an organization called the Adaptive Training Academy. And if anyone's ever interested, they do a fantastic job of educating coaches on how to be an adaptive coach. So how you can modify and adapt for each individual that comes through your doors. And I am also certified through the Ready State, and that's going to be called the Functional Training for Adaptive Athletes. So that's another certification that I have as well. But there is a lot out there for continuing ed, and I highly recommend that if individuals are going someplace to get coached, that if they are someone that has an impairment, that maybe they search for someone that has those credentials so that they can safely be put through a workout and they know, hey, I'm going to come in and they're going to take care of me, sort of thing. But I do think continuing education is very important. Yes, ma'am.
You mentioned your YouTube channel earlier before we pushed record. Could you tell everyone about your YouTube channel and how they can find you and what it's all about?
Sure. So our YouTube channel is called Kaizen Athletics. And basically, this has been a chance for me to reach more people that are out there. And I put up I would say weekly videos. I'm slowly getting into it. But I would say a lot of it's going to be about nutrition, mindset, different functional fitness exercises, community driven. We'll do athlete spotlights. We'll go over maybe like a day in the life of what it's like, for me coaching all day or what I eat all day or something like that. But it's just a great way to kind of reach more people out there. But I would say a lot of it just has to do with community and education.
Oh, and we'll make sure that we link that in the bottom of our
Oh, thank
description
you.
when we post this up on on our YouTube channel, The Heart of Texas. And so that leads me to my next question. There is a balance between being healthy and fit. So what kind of foods do you recommend that people with disabilities eat, those that they stay away from, all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, so I think at the end of the day, majority of people, they know how to eat. They know what they should be eating, but it's whether or not they actually do it.
Hmm.
But the food intake or nutrition should differ no different. It should be no different from an able-bodied athlete for an adaptive athlete. They should be eating the exact same thing. And basically what that looks like, and this is a broad brush. Of course, we could spend a lot of time on this, but to keep it very brief, we want to make sure that we are eating meats, veggies, fruits, all the fruits and vegetables, all the meats, and we're staying away from processed foods. We're staying away from sugars, from added sugars, and we're incorporating whole nutrient dense foods and this is something I say to my athletes all the time is how are you going to fuel yourself for performance today, for not just inside the gym, but outside of the gym at home? How are you preparing your body? And especially for an individual that has an impairment of some sort, their body is working very, very hard to recover from whatever traumatic injury they may have had. They should be taking every chance throughout the day to increase their longevity, increase their health, and that's simply by eating very well. So with a broad brush, I would say, trying to stay very close to whole nutrient dense foods. If it has a label with 40,000 things on it, probably not something we want. But it is, if it's fresh and there's no ingredient list, then we want to kind of steer more towards that. So that's just kind of a broad brush of what I suggest for our athletes.
Well, speaking of food, there's also water intake. And so personally, my fiance, if he drinks either just a cup of water, it seems like he's using the restroom all day long. And I know it differs from body to body depending on people's their their uh their impairment of some sort. So what do you suggest that how much water do people drink? Because some people are saying the 9 glasses isn't really working for me, and some people are saying that's not true. What do you say
Right.
about that?
I would say majority of the population is dehydrated without a doubt. And I would say majority of the population also, to go back to the food, would be majority of people are undernourished
Hmm.
and underfed. 100%. And so as far as the hydration goes, same thing as before, I do believe that hydration should be the same as for an able-bodied athlete as it is for an adaptive athlete. The same thing should apply. But basically, I preach a lot about proper hydration at the gym and outside of the gym. So the same thing as your food intake, you should be fueling yourself. And especially for our athletes, like, when they have all day before they come into workout at 4:30 p.m., I'll ask them, I'll say, okay, well, what have you had to drink today? What have you had to eat today? And they're like, oh, well, I got up a few hours ago. I'm like, well, that's not going to cut it. You need to be preparing yourself all day for this class because you want to do the best, you want to perform the best when you're in here. And so hydrating yourself and eating well is going to go hand in hand with that. But basically, proper hydration is very important to our health and for our longevity. Water is used to balance our bodies. It's used to lubricate our joints. So I would encourage each athlete out there, each able-bodied, in half of your body weight in ounces. That's a good place to start. And then obviously we want to make sure that as you're exercising, you want to be increasing that intake a little bit more as well. So the more you're sweating, you should be putting back in. But the deal is it shouldn't just be plain water because unfortunately that doesn't really hydrate us on a cellular level. So we encourage our athletes or anyone out there, you should be adding electrolytes to your water as well. And a great electrolyte that we actually use that I highly, highly recommend majority of people add into their water would actually be called Element. And it's just spelled out. So it's LMNT. And basically, that's a zero sugar electrolyte mix that I sell at my gym. And I also push it for a majority of our athletes that they should be having. And basically, that is full of potassium, magnesium, and sodium. And these are basically things that you are sweating out. So when you sweat those things out, you're not just sweating out water, you're actually sweating out all of these extra things. So you should be replenishing them as well. So I encourage individuals out there to hydrate all day long, but you should also be adding in extra electrolytes as well. And that's going to ensure that you have proper hydration.
Oh, thank you so much for that. I didn't even know that myself.
Yeah.
So, for those who cannot come to your facility, what kind of workouts do you suggest that they do that maybe they can do at home or do with a partner? What do you suggest?
Yeah, so I'm actually currently working on online content that hopefully people all over the world, because it's truly a blessing. Every single day I'll get a message on Instagram saying, I wish you were closer to me, I would love to come to your facility. And I'm like, stand by, I'm working on something. But ideally I would love to have something that people can access daily workouts and daily videos, and it'll be very accommodating for them, because I think a lot of times people just are uneducated when it comes to movement.
Mhm.
So I hope that I'm going to be able to change that for them. But I would say if you are unable to access a facility, you are at home and maybe you don't have any equipment at all, there is plenty for you to do. And a good place for you to start is educate yourself, go online, and maybe you Google hand release push up. Okay, so something as simple as you pushing yourself up off the floor, which seems maybe like an easy task for you and I, but the reality of it is maybe you have a wheelchair athlete and or they're newly wheelchaired or newly in a wheelchair. They fall over and they're saying, oh, I can't get back up, I need help. Well, there you go, you just lost your independence, right?
Mhm.
So you Google, oh, how do you do a hand release push-up, and then you learn, or maybe you Google a burpee, and you're learning how to get yourself up off the floor again, back into your chair independently. So it's something as simple as that, or there are a multitude of things you could do, maybe with a set of dumbbells at the house. Also from that website, Equip Products, they actually make split jump ropes. So if you are a wheelchair user and you would like to have the feeling of doing a jump rope, they make jump ropes that are split in half, and basically you're getting the motion of doing a jump rope. Great way to get your heart rate up. And you can do that in the comfort of your home. So there's so many things out there. You just kind of have to dig around and see what works for you. But keeping it as simple as possible. It's very, very simple. So starting with body weight movements and then just kind of working in those dumbbells.
Oh, wow, that's amazing. I think that's something that anybody can take from this because
Absolutely.
we sit on the couch and we eat chips all day and then you just grow weaker and weaker, and just to
Yeah.
get up and get to do something, that's a
Yeah.
blessing in itself. Who are in wheelchairs to find independence, because some of them may feel like they've lost their independence somehow. And and this is a side question, but is that for also people who think they may be getting weaker in their bodies?
Yeah, absolutely. Movement is medicine. And I hope that that reaches so many people, because not just from a physical standpoint, but from a mental standpoint, for these adaptive athletes, or for injuries or impairments, that are maybe new or whatnot, you get stuck in home and you're not getting outside, you're not getting fresh air, depression sinks in, terrible thoughts sink in, your independence you lose your independence, a handful of these things, and then all of a sudden you're down this very slippery slope of kind of like, boohoo me, I can't do anything. You have to switch your mindset to, I have this impairment, this is how I'm going to overcome it. I'm going to find a facility that has an adaptive class, and I'm going to get myself up for the day. I'm going to brush my teeth, I'm going to take a shower, I'm going to go work out, I'm going to eat well, I'm going to drink well. And then all of a sudden you go from that really dark place to, I'm feeling good about this, and this is my new life, and it is what it is. And there's no feeling sorry for yourself. And I think for individuals that are new to this new life, or they haven't known about any of this up until now, there are so many ways out there to make yourself feel better. You just have to put in the work.
And
Yes.
is there any way that others can support if they don't live in the state that y'all are in?
Yeah, we would love all the support. But a great way that, so currently we're working on becoming a 501(c)(3), but that has been a long road and hopefully soon. But a great way to give us some support and love is, you can follow us on social media at Kaizen Adaptive Training. We're on Instagram, we're on Facebook. And also we take direct donations, and I can either do that through Venmo, or we can, someone has mailed us checks before, and that's kind of the easiest way to do it. And my Venmo is MLE Kramer, and that's all spelled out. And I can send that to you as well. And then another fantastic way, and this is kind of like a wonderful thing for both people involved, is we do t-shirt purchases. So we have t-shirts and tank tops. And basically, when you purchase either one, all of those proceeds go back into our program so that we can buy extra modalities, extra equipment, and we can give back and continue to make these classes free. But our logo is here, which hopefully you can see okay. But basically, this is our regular logo for our gym, which is the four rectangulars, or the rectangles. And then we added in the wheelchair in there. So if you guys purchase a tank top or t-shirt, you would get a t-shirt with our Kaizen Adaptive Training logo on it.
And is there any other information that you would like to tell everyone about Kaizen?
I would just like that people follow our, I think our Instagram would be the best way, but follow our Instagram page and watch these athletes, these adaptive athletes at work, and get motivated by it, get inspired by it, and know that wherever you guys are in your life, whatever you have going on, there is always a way around it. And I hope that they can learn something from our athletes and from myself, and that hopefully they'll reach out if they have any questions about anything. And I really hope that we can touch some lives together.
That's amazing. Thank you so much, Miss Emily, for being with us. Y'all go and support Kaizen whichever way you possibly can. I'm going to support, and I hope
Thank
that
you.
y'all support as well. Miss Emily, thank you so much for being with us. I really do appreciate it.
Thank you so much for your time. It means so much, and hopefully we can reach a lot of people.